The sixth of the Ariel poems is the Cultivation of Christmas Trees. Interesting that Eliot does not use the decoration of Christmas trees, but the cultivation of Christmas trees in this particular poem. Cultivation of something is very different than a decoration of something. We cultivate a garden, agriculture. Cultivation is a thoughtful approach to trying to make sense of the human journey. And in many ways, the Christmas tree for Eliot is an icon. Not only a literal Christmas tree, but it's also an icon of seeing into wonder of a young child. So he starts with the crude notions of Christmas, where he says, there are several attitudes towards Christmas, some which we may disregard: the social, the torpid, the patently commercial, the rowdy, the pubs being open till midnight, and the childish, which is not that of the child. He then goes on to reflect on what is the nature of the Christmas tree from a child's perspective, with the lights, Christmas, the wonder, the appeal. The best of Christmas was people all around, presents being given. It opens up the possibility of the richness, the fullness of life for a fleeting second, for a fleeting day, for a fleeting few hours, and it then gets into the child, the possibilities of what life could be. And in that sense, the Christmas tree is a portal. It's a way into the soul as it's longing for that which is so much more. It's the wonder of a child as it looks at, it's not just the angel on the top of a tree, it's a real angel. And Eliot goes on to describe in the cultivation of a Christmas tree, how do we cultivate a soul's awareness to see beyond the literal into the possibilities from which the literal points when understood properly. It's almost using the Hoffman story of you have to crack the nut of the literal to get to the deeper meaning of the spiritual, or the figurative in that sense, which speaks to the soul. In the cultivation of Christmas tree, Eliot then alludes to St. Lucy, who's probably one of the most important early martyrs in the church. St. Lucy factors largely into Dante's Commedia. She's there in the Inferno, she's there in the Purgatorio, and she's with Adam in the Paradiso. She was this one that was sent by Mary to go to Beatrice, to then go to Dante and his Virgil, and Virgil and Dante, to get them moving through their journey through time. So what Eliot is doing in the cultivation of the Christmas tree is not only the Christmas tree and referring to St. Lucy, he's referring again to the journey, but this time he's using the Christmas tree as an icon into the communion of the saints, the history of the saints, and the wonder if we enter into that life itself. And so Christmas, which is the Christmas tree, seems odd in terms of a finale to the Ariel poems in comparison to the Journey of the Magi, the Song of Simeon, Anamula, Marina, and then the Triumphal March. So now we come to something that's what it seems to be as benign as a Christmas tree and lights. So what's that got to do with some of these big themes? Well, he's summing up the big themes in terms of how do we evoke, how do we awaken wonder in people? And particularly the journey, as he goes, he talks about in the journey, the danger is you go along and you lose the sense of wonder. People lose the sense of awe in just the hurly-burly, the demands of surviving on the human journey. And for some, it's just a survival of being able to pay bills, keep a family afoot. Others, it's wars, it's famine, it's tragedy. And so it's very dangerous for wonder to be lost. And then people just slip in soul survival, and that's about it. So how in the midst of the journey can wonder at a literal level be awoken, and how do we prevent ourselves from losing a sense of wonder? And so the Christmas tree for Eliot, and the cultivation of wonder within, and the Christmas tree within itself, how do we keep that alive? Very important to know a Christmas tree with its greenness, it always embodies in the autumn and winter season, the leaves have fallen from all other trees. So often when the leaves fall from the branch of a person's life, is there greening at all in any place in a person's life? So the Christmas tree is always that tree of green that can exist in a person when all else has fallen away. All the leaves of their life seem to have come to naught. The last leaves have fallen. It's dark at this particular time of year. The nature of light is shortened and shortened each day. So you have the darkening season, whereas the leaves have fallen, so death seems to dominate. And yet in the Christmas tree, you have green existing in the midst when all other leaves have fallen, trees are gaunt. The time of season is dark, and yet the light from the Christmas tree beams light in the midst of darkness. The greening and the light and the wonder, he argues, that's essential to be maintained in the struggles, the tragedies, the suffering of life. And so in that sense, it's a fitting end to the Ariel poems as Ariel is freed from the tree. And then how is Ariel going to live when Prospero then frees Ariel as well? Because initial Ariel is under the command of Prospero, but then Prospero frees Ariel as well. And so it's the nurturing of Ariel in terms of understanding the true meaning of freedom, so it is not the misuse of freedom which so dominates much of our ethos at this time. And so the Christmas tree brings so much together as a conclusion to the Ariel poems in Advent season, which is the coming. And so do we truly know what it means for us to be coming alive in terms of our true being and our proper use of freedom? And what does it mean to be greening within in the midst of darkness, and the light within when we have less and less light throughout the darkening autumn and winter season?